The Cubs schedule has been very difficult so far this year. They've played the Braves 6 times. They played the Dodgers a couple times. They had, they lost a 4 game set to the Brewers at the end of last month.
The
Thank
Padres, the Red Sox, it's been rough for us this first half of 2024.
Yeah, for sure. Thankfully, it's starting to ease up a little bit in June. They're currently playing the White Sox as we're speaking right now. That they had a good comeback win against them yesterday. Hopefully, they can sweep the 2 game the crosstown series today. And then I believe they draw the Reds again, which they haven't been the best team this year. The Rays haven't been having a great season. And then they get the Mets at the end of the month. So definitely a chance here to really beat up on some mediocre to bad teams, and the Cubs need to take advantage of it.
I think it'll be kind of like a great, even though they are real games, I think it's great like kind of practice for the Cubs because again, these are kind of, in my opinion, lower level teams. Again, I don't want to throw shade, but that's what you do in baseball. You throw shade to other teams. I don't want to throw shade to these teams, but again, I think the Cubs have the skill to easily beat these teams. You get a kind of break where, we face the Rangers, the Padres, the Pirates. These are high level teams from 2023 and a little bit before, we were getting our, ASS kicked in the beginning. And I think now is a time to kind of reflect back and say, okay, we're facing these high level teams. We're going up against people more near kind of our level or even below that. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about, and it's not because, I became a baseball fan in Baltimore. In about a month, we also face the Baltimore Orioles. And that's where, again, I get a little bit worried. Again, maybe not because I'm also an Orioles fan, but the Orioles have had an amazing season.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good point because right after June, which is sort of an easier schedule, the Cubs go right back to they get the Phillies, they get the Orioles, they get the Cardinals, they get the Brewers again, they get the Royals who have been having a great season. So it's not going to ease up for the rest of the year. It's just they have a little bit of a break right now. The Cubs have to take advantage. They really obviously the hope is that the Cubs can beat teams like the Phillies and the Royals and whoever else because they're going to need to beat those teams in the playoffs if they get there. And that's obviously the best competition. But part of baseball being a 162 game season is that the teams that win 100 plus games, not that the Cubs will do that this year, are the teams who consistently beat teams like the Mets and the Athletics and the Rocky, and sort of the bottom feeders of whatever year it is. Because those are the games that, the skill level is very, differentiated between the teams. And so the Cubs can't afford to lose games to the White Sox and whoever else. So hopefully the Cubs will take advantage in June. Hopefully, they'll build some momentum and they'll take on the better teams in July. But they need to start their winning ways immediately.
And let's look at it this way. When we come out of when we're done with June, let's say we have some wins across the board in June, going into July when we face again these teams that made it to, the playoffs and everything. If we have a great June, I think July is going to look great for us. We might clinch some great wins. It could, or even maybe some tie, not tie games, but because that's not a thing. But it might be some close games, and I think that's better than nothing. I at the end of the day, I'd rather take like a 7-8 game versus like a 9-0 game.